Sup guys, welcome to Daily Check-in number 37. Number one, how am I feeling today? Feeling a bit better today, starting to turn the corner, starting to realize what's going on in my head, why it's happening, and what I have to do to be in a better mindset, a better state of mind. If you checked out the check-in yesterday, you'll see that I was talking about going through a lot more negative thoughts, a bit of anxiety, and however, there's no reason to be anxious or having negative thoughts because my life is going how I want it to go. It's trending in the right direction. However, it's a normal thing when you get out of your comfort zone, whether it's positive or negative, and this ties into number two as part of my journey. Your mind is going to want to drag you back into your comfort zone. And now I'm going through the process of figuring that out, how to deal with that, how to relax, and deal with it in a joyful and more positive way so I can keep training in the right direction. And that's number one and two together. Number three, fitness tip for today. So I'm going to touch on supplements really quick. My belief, it's not necessary to achieve your goals, especially in terms of health, aesthetics, pretty much any health and fitness goal that you want to achieve, you do not need supplements to get there. However, I gotta be honest, creatine works, especially if you're trying to gain size and strength. Creatine definitely works. There are some recent studies that have come out saying it's good for cognitive ability. Really hard to say if that's true or not in my opinion. However, it definitely gives me extra reps and strength in the gym. So I'm not going to promote creatine. I'm not going to tell you to use creatine. Do your own research, try it out for yourself. However, from all the times I've taken creatine, I've never had any bad side effects. It definitely does work. You do gain strength. You do smash out extra reps. However, once you get off creatine, that goes away. So keep that in mind. Cool. So the other supplement I wanted to touch on is protein powder. Now, as a personal trainer who's been training people for the past decade, a very common question from many of my current clients and my previous clients is, which protein powder should I use? Now I'm going to be honest, I'm not a big fan of protein powder. I wouldn't recommend protein powder. I actually don't think it's even close to real food. There's really only a couple of protein powders that I have used, which I would actually recommend to other people, and this is based on ingredients. A lot of protein powders, pretty much most of them, have a lot of fillers, have a lot of ingredients that you really shouldn't be consuming as a human. However, I want to give a big shout out to Mitchell's protein powder because they have sent me samples in the past and they have probably the cleanest protein you can buy. It's depending on the flavor, it's pretty much just 3 or 4 ingredients. It is bone broth, okay, with monk fruit as a sweetener, monk fruit powder as a sweetener, salt and cacao or vanilla flavor, whatever it might be, depending on the flavor. It's pretty clean and the nutrients in it, top quality, doesn't hurt my stomach. A lot of these protein powders, what you'll notice, if you take them, you got weird smelly farts, right? That means something's gone wrong in your digestion while you're having smelly farts. If you eat a steak on its own, if you eat eggs on its own, you're not gonna have yucky, smelly farts. This is a fact, straight up, no lies. So shout out to Mitchell's. It's really the only protein powder I recommend to my clients. I've recommended it before. It is a bit pricier than your other protein powders, but you get what you pay for. You're not getting a bunch of random fillers that can negatively impact your health. If you're gonna choose a protein powder, I would recommend Mitchell's. And really personally for me, I really only have protein powder out of convenience. If I really don't have much time, that's when I use protein powder. So if you're going to use one, check out Mitchell's. Again, do your own research before you try anything. However, that's just my opinion that when it comes to protein powders in New Zealand, Mitchell's protein powder is creme de la creme. Nothing else comes close, in my opinion. That's number 3. Number 4, something about my life that you may not know. My daughter's twins, 2-for-1 deal, were born premature. Most twins are 35, 36 weeks. So, when they're born, a bit of a scare. You got to stay a couple of weeks in the incubator. Very, very small, 2 kgs and 1.7. However, even during this period, I did not stop working out. I did not stop eating healthy. I stuck to the values and the disciplines I had in my life, and that's how I stayed in shape like this. And I encourage you, if you're a parent, are going to be a parent, or you ever plan on having kids, get some disciplines and values stuck in your life to make sure when your world changes, it goes upside down or goes in another direction because you have kids, you have something to fall back on, you have a structure to fall back on that keeps your mindset in the right place, because I guarantee you having kids is not a walk in the park. But as challenging as it is as a parent, the amount of challenge, you get the same amount of joy in return. So just remember that. And it really is the most profound relationship you can have with another human being. It is with your kids. I can't explain it. You got to have kids to experience it for yourself. I would literally die for my kids, and I'm going to take it a step further, and I'm going to live for my kids. A lot of parents, I hear this a lot, I'll die for my kids, I'll die for my kids. Yeah, most parents would die for their kids, but who's going to live for their kids? Who's going to show them how to live a great life? I've seen this a lot. I think it's pretty common that people just kind of give up on themselves and sacrifice their whole life for their kids. And really what you're showing them and teaching them is just to sacrifice your life for your kids, sacrifice your life for other people, where the best thing you can do is be the example, so that when they have kids, they're not just going to sacrifice their life and your family stays on the same level for all eternity. You want generation after generation to level up, and that's what I'm trying to do. So that's why I'm going 100%. That's why I'm trying to share value with the world. That's why I continue to work out throughout the injuries. That's why I continue to eat healthy, even though it can be difficult. That's why I continue to have these disciplines in my life that keep me on track towards my dreams and my goals. That's what it's about. Living for your kids, not just dying for them. And that's number 4. Number 5, life lesson for today is to relax and focus on the process and not the result. This is something that I'm going through right now. As I said in the beginning, this week's been quite challenging for me. I've had anxious thoughts, a bit more stress than usual, even though there's nothing to be stressed about. And really, I was talking to my mentor, Steve, about this, and really the biggest thing that's going to help me get through this and understand that I'm stressing for nothing is I need to relax and be joyful and focus on the process. Focusing on the process instead of the result. And this is something I see, when I'm training some of my clients. They're like, how many do I got left? Or how many, do we got to do another set? And when is this going to be over? And etc., etc., etc. Always focusing on when it's going to be done or how long we got left, where if you're staying in the moment and you focus on the techniques, the breathing, and what's needed in the moment, time's just going to fly by. But if you're there in a plank, everything's tightened up, and you're worried about how much time's left on the clock. but it's going to be a long as minute or two compared to if you're there, you're chilling, you focus on your form, you focus on this, you focus on that, focus on all the parts that's needed to make a successful plank and get the most out of it. A minute's going to come pretty quick. So yeah, not just for me, but I just wanted to pass this lesson on because this is something that I got to practice as well, is just relax, breathe, try to stay in the present, don't focus too much about alternative realities that don't exist, false evidence appearing real, F-E-A-R, fear, and just relaxing and staying present and focusing on the process and doing every little step at a time in the moment instead of focusing on the future, when this is going to end, when this is going to happen. Just focus on the now. That's it. That's number 5. Thanks for tuning in.